James Madison. And we've seen this number get even bigger in the Sun Belt Championship game. It's tonight, 7 p.m. James Madison laying 23.5 against Troy. Right now, James Madison is the number 25 team in the country, I believe. And they would be on the outside looking in, I believe. Even though the record is 11-1, there is still definitely a pathway for them to make it in to the college football playoff. I believe they're plus 140 to make the playoff. But I think this is where you say, okay, if James Madison can run up the score, they're going to want to. The total in this one, 47.5. So, Jenks, do you think JMU runs up the score against Troy?
Yeah, I think they will. This number has just kind of gotten out of control. Like, that's what worries me. Like, this opened at 21.5, and I would have maybe played it down to 21 or even taken a 21.5, but now it's sitting at 23.5. I don't know, though. This could be an absolute blowout. It looks that way. Troy is just not a good team. They're just not. They have an awful offense. That offense is not even ranked in the top 100 in college football. Like, not in the top 100. And then if you look at JMU, and I understand people are going to say, oh, it's JMU, it's JMU. This is one of the most complete teams in the country. No, they haven't played that top-tier schedule that the big names, the Blue Bloods, play because the conferences they're in the Sun Belt. But they have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense when it comes to yards per play. So as long as the Dukes hold on to the football, then they can win this game 40-7 or whatever the number might be and cover this. I actually think they're going to cover this number. I just don't see Troy having a chance here. And unlike some of these bigger conferences in the Power Four, this isn't at a neutral site. It's going to be in Harrisonburg, so it's a home game as well. I think you take that into effect if you're looking at the handicap here.
Yeah, and if you look at some of these final scores for James Madison, they've run up the score against a lot of teams.
Yeah.
35-10 over Georgia Southern, 63-27 over Old Dominion, 52-20 over Texas State, 58-10 over App State, and most recently covering as 23.5-point favorites over Coastal Carolina, winning that game 59-10. Overall, they haven't been like the best covering team, but still a winning ATS record at 6-4. So it's just one of those teams that I think style points will matter. So if you're sweating the spread at the end of the game, usually when we're talking about a 23.5-point spread, like the starters are off the field, they start to call the game a little bit more conservatively. I don't think that's going to be the case for James Madison. So if I had to play anything in this game, it would be JMU covering the 23.5. All right, so this spread isn't nearly as big in the American Championship game. We've got a good one between two top 25 teams, number 24 in North Texas, one of the best offensive teams in college football, going to at number 20, Tulane. North Texas, the favorites in this one. And Tulane, if you want to play them on the money line, plus 115, a total of 67.5. And the crazy part of this is that right now, Tulane would be the 5th highest ranked conference champion if they win this game, but they got to win this game first. Jenks, do you like the favorite here?
I do like North Texas. I got a little soft spot in my heart for North Texas. I looked at North Texas when I was in high school. They have a good journalism program, but North Texas has done a nice job of putting together their program. And, of course, Eric Morris is leaving for Oklahoma State. And then you have John Summerall taking over at Florida. So you have two head coaches who are getting ready to leave here. I really like North Texas. The Green Wave now, they can definitely get after the quarterback. There's no question about that. That is one of their strengths. But you can run on Tulane, and I think that's going to be the real difference in this game. Caleb Hawkins, the freshman, has really come on late. He scored 16 times in the past 4 games for the Mean Green, so he's really broken out. And the key is also in the trenches. North Texas is great on both lines of scrimmage here. I think it's going to be a really great game. Of course, it's in New Orleans, so that's a bit of an advantage for the Green Wave, but ultimately, I think the Mean Green prevail here. It's below the key number of 3, so I'm on North Texas minus 2.5.
Right, especially when it's a low spread, and North Texas is averaging 46.4 points per game.
Right.
46 points per game. That is a huge number. And granted, this is going to be a tougher matchup than some of those games in which they padded the stats. But still, if you want a team to cover the number, like, you want a team that can score points. So I think Tulane's going to have a tough time keeping up with North Texas. All right, Jenks, we have a couple other conference championship games that maybe are not as meaningful, but still could be interesting. We have tight spreads in both of these. Conference USA Championship, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, favored by 2.5, total of 60.5. Or you could look at the Mountain West. This game in Boise, Boise State, 4.5-point home favorites against UNLV. I think you've bet on UNLV a little bit this year as far as the Mountain West. Maybe not a ton, but do you have a feeling on either of these games?
I think I'm going to put a little sprinkle on tonight's Mountain West Championship game. Oh. I think it's going to be an exciting game. The total is 58.5. And when they met earlier this season, Boise State won that game 56-31. So I'm definitely going with the over here. I like Boise State -4.5. They're playing on the blue turf in Boise. You know, I used to work in Boise, so it has a soft spot in my heart there. I loved covering the Broncos before they really broke out and became, you know, kind of a national name. But, man, neither of these defenses can stop the run. They just can't. Boise State is 82nd in the country against the run. UNLV is 96th. The Rebels average 37 points per game. The Broncos average a little more than 30 points per game. And so I'm sure it's going to be colder than it was earlier in the year, but we saw 87 points in the first meeting. Neither team can stop the run. I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. We're going to see a ton of big plays. I like the Broncos playing at home. I think they cover the 4.5. But more than anything, I want to put a sprinkle on the over here. And just, if you just want to have a lot of fun, I mean, I think the handicap is on the right side here. But if you just want to have fun, put a sprinkle on a game and just enjoy it. Put a sprinkle on the over, UNLV, Boise State, and just watch the points just go ding, 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 and rack up.
I will say maybe the only sabotage factor is if you look at the weather, there is some rain in the forecast, but it's like, I don't know, 60% chance at 5. And then at 8, it kind of tails off to where, you know, it's only supposed to be light rain. And it is going to be cold. But, you know, if you have two teams that can run the football, maybe it does not matter. I will say, as far as the consensus goes, a lot of people are riding with Boise State in this one, 67% of the bets right now. So it looks like the favorites are probably the play in a lot of these games. Does that ever scare you when you like all of the favorites?
Yeah, that's the problem, is that I was looking at these games handicapping yesterday, and I was like, Michael, you're choosing the favorite. I think is it every game? Let me double check. Yes.
Same.
I have the favorite.
That's why I said that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, you're a psycho. What is wrong with you? Like, that can't happen. I mean, it can happen. It's very unlikely, but that's just where the numbers are pointing me. So I don't know. Maybe I need to reel it in. But I like almost all the favorites this weekend. I don't know what's going on.